I'm Dr. Lisa Wiedemann, and today I wanted to really go over some amazing benefits that I have found from this sardine challenge that so many are talking about and trying. And I'm currently working with a large group of amazing people who have taken on a ketosis challenge, and I encourage everybody to actually try the sardine challenge at least once. Here, let me set my camera a little bit better. Um, so there's some really amazing benefits that you get from this sardine challenge. It is meant to be 72 hours where you literally eat nothing but sardines. And I'm going to tell you from my own experience that it was eye-opening in learning a lot about your hunger, what true hunger is. And I have to say, I believe the Sardine Fast works really well for most people, because most people are absolutely turned off by the idea of eating these small fish that are lined up in a tin. I was on the front of the line for that idea of saying, no way, not me, that's not what I'm going to eat. And I do have a lot of people who give a lot of pushback on that, and to that I say, no, 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 no. You've just expressed what makes it the ideal challenge for you to do, because one, you're going to wait until you are good and hungry, and I mean good and hungry if you're not a big fan of sardines, before you're going to open up a tin of those fish. It changes your relationship with food, because I see somebody writing here that you could live on sardines and water. Yeah, I'll get into that with people who happen to love sardines, but the change in the relationship with your thought around food is the issue of really figuring out at what point you really, really are hungry, and hungry enough that you want to eat something that is there purely, in the case where you're not a fan of sardines, purely for nutrition and to get rid of a hunger pang. So the other thing that is so amazing with sardines, and of course I have to give credit to Dr. Boz for really coming up with this whole concept of the Sardine Fast, is that in a very remarkable way, it boosts your ketones and reduces your glucose. It helps mental clarity. It helps with your immunity, anti-inflammatory. They're high in selenium, which is great for thyroid health. Let me, I always, because when I go live, I have to use notes, because sometimes I can't think on my feet. But I'm going to pull up Judy Cho's graphic, and maybe I'll hold it up long enough for a second there you guys can screenshot it. But you can find it online, and it's in her book, her amazing book, The Carnivore Cure. So low in mercury, very high in omega-3s, which is a really, really good type of fat, which you don't get with tuna, and you don't really get with some of the other fish that are very low in fat. That is why, part of the reason why this is so beneficial is you're getting a really good quality fat and protein. So it helps prevent muscle wasting. It is really good to kickstart weight loss and get you into ketosis. And Dr. Boz found that with people who are actually insulin resistant, their glucose and ketones are much better on a sardine fast than they are on a water fast. So, I mean, that kind of information is pretty powerful. In my current Ketosis Challenge groups, have not been the sardine Nazi and told people that you can't do anything different. I have some people who are doing a fat fast, some are doing a bone broth fast, and I'm going to tell you that most of those people are the ones that really are holding their nose, turning their nose up to the thought of sardines. And I'm going to tell you, I was totally grossed out by the thought of eating these little fish in the cans. And I'm just going to give you a kind of a quick, I got a mess on my counter here because I want to show you some options that I like to really let you think about if you're trying the sardine fast and having trouble with it, or if it's worked really well and the thought of doing it again, you know, this might be a really great tool in the toolbox for driving your ketones up and dropping weight. I have so many people in my groups that have been so excited because I have a private chat that goes on in between our weekly meetings, and they're finally losing weight. 3 pounds, 6 pounds, 8 pounds. They've got glucose numbers lower than they've ever had before, and ketones higher than they've ever had, and a GKI index that they're thrilled with. And I just want people to try it. Just like I want people to try that Step That app that's amazing to motivate you to get off your bum and walk more. This sardine challenge is really, really, truly valuable in what you learn about yourself, what you learn about how your blood chemistry reacts to what you're putting in your mouth, how often and how much you're putting it in your mouth. So one of the other really great things about, hang on, let me get to, about the sardine challenge is portion control. These really come in nice little compact tins. Some of them will actually specifically say BPA free, and don't write in the comments to me about how you don't eat anything out of a can because they're all plastic lined and all that. You can get sardines and kippers and mackerel in glass jars. Not as easy to find, and like I said, some of these are now saying BPA free cans, but I'm not going to deal with that aspect of this. This works so incredibly well. I'm not going to throw, I guess, the baby out with the bathwater on saying that I can't do it because of the can. So that being said, portion control. For anybody who has issues with fullness, volume eating disorder, where it's hard to stop when something's really good in front of you, or it's hard to monitor what you're eating and you have a hard time weighing on a scale and tracking in an app. This is really, really beneficial for portion control. Claudia just wrote, how many cans of sardines do you eat in a day? Great question, because the answer is really important. You eat as many cans as you feel you need or want. Now, let me back up to those people who love sardines. I do find a few of those people, and most of them are ones that have been brought up on them, ate them as a kid, ate them, you know, their heritage Estonian or whatever, and they say, yeah, that was just a staple of, was inexpensive, and okay, Christine's a lover of sardines. All right, so now I'm really curious, for the lovers of sardines, how you fare with what you're doing as far as volume of eating. Do you eat like 2 or 3 cans and then when you get hungry and then eat 2 or 3 cans? Because, you know, these things, depending on the can, this one is a little bit larger. How many ounces? This one's 6.7 ounces and 205 calories. This one's a lot smaller, 3.5 ounces, and it's only 130 calories. But I gotta say, for me, which is one of the beautiful things about this sardine challenge, is that I eat one can. And I eat one can because that's really all I don't want to say choke down, because I've actually come to tolerate them really well. I'm not gagging. And some people say, oh, I couldn't do that. I would rather water fast. I will gag. And like, yeah, you can get over it really fast. $1.18 a can here. Wow, Shelly. All right, so before I get into it, I'm actually going to demo what I do and how I got over the mental hurdle I had of actually attempting to eat these fish. So, couple things. You really, really want to get them packed in water. I got a whole stack of these from Costco, and these are in olive oil. Honestly, I don't trust any olive oil, and I know from so many people, hi Tammy, I know from so many people that the undercover testing of these things is really not good news for us who are trying to avoid seed oils like the plague. So I'm going to use up these last in oil ones by rinsing them off like I was doing, but I still don't like the whole thought of it. It's so much better when it's just packed in oil or in water or its own brine. So, okay, the next thing I'm going to talk about is some differences between, there's mackerel. Mackerel tend to have a little bit more of a mild flavor to them. That's the word on the street, but honestly, they kind of all taste like tuna to me. Herring fillets, this is kipper style. So here's another interesting tidbit that I dug up while I was doing some background work for this video is herring are just grown-up sardines. Sardines are the small little fish, and once they get bigger and larger, they are herring. And kippers are not a separate fish. It's kipper style herring, and that's either smoked or grilled or I forget what else, but see how it says kipper style herring fillets. So actually when you open up this can, instead of seeing these small little lined up sardines, it's a little larger, flatter fillet type fish. To me, it doesn't really matter because I don't open the can and stick a fork in it and eat it. I don't. I want to still, as best I can, enjoy my food. So I'm going to show you what I do. The other thing that you want to consider, and hear me out on this, it's the issue with skinless, boneless, or with skin and bone in. Ideally, you really want to get the skin on, bone in sardines. Believe me when I tell you, I've had them both, and I thought I would be totally repulsed thinking about the skin on, bone in. Honest, I could really not tell the difference. The bone, you know, in our minds we think, oh my God, bone in a fish, you bite on it and it's like you're pulling it out of your mouth. No, it's so soft, so small, you're not going to even notice that you have chewed a bone. Same thing with the skin. It doesn't have scales, it's not thick. You really don't even realize the skin's on. So get that out of your mind. I would have been the first person to say, oh my gosh, gross, I'm not doing skin and bones. But I did do it. I bought it and I said, I gotta try this because I heard just what I said, is that it's no big deal and you probably won't tell the difference. So there's a lot of nutritional value. You know how I said sardines are really high in vitamin D? a lot of that is in the skin and bones. That aspect of it is a good portion of it, but still, overall, it's still a really good source of vitamin D. Okay, so have as many cans as you want. I tend to wait till I get really good and hungry. So for me, that might be 1, 2 o'clock where I finally give in on this sardine challenge 3-day thing that I would be doing. And I have a can. And I'm fine. The amount of fat in it is very satiating. You've got a great amount of protein and fat, and it's really satiating, especially when you're not a huge fan of it. But, and then, so some people have 2 cans and then another 2 cans and another 2 cans and have 6 cans for the day. Personally, for me, the way it works is I end up having 2 cans. Hunger pang number 1, hunger pang number 2, and that's it. So everybody's journey on this is different, and I will say in the 3 times now that I've done this, it's just so empowering the next day to wake up and have your glucose low, have your ketones up, and feel really good, and know that you're not going to starve yourself that day. Guess what? When you get hungry, you get to eat. Granted, it's more sardines, but you get to eat. It's not like a water fast. So that's another beautiful thing, is that it really, for a lot of people, shakes up your metabolism and gets your weight loss going and gets the ketones going and the fat burning. And I think, like I said, I think everybody should try it, if for nothing else than getting a good sense of your relationship with hunger and with food. So what I'm going to do, before I go into any variations of it, I'm going to show you, let me see if I can get my, I'm going to try after I do this, I'm going to scroll back and answer some questions, but let me just get this going here. So, all right, you might be wondering, why is she turning her oven on and why does she have the fry pan out? Because, like I said, I don't like to open the can and stick my fork into the fish. So I take some Kerrygold butter, and this happens to be an herb Kerrygold butter, and I put about a tablespoon into the pan, and I get it sizzling up, and I'm going to do, oh yeah, I haven't eaten yet today, and it's a little after 8 o'clock, so it's time for dinner for me. I'm going to tell you, so I'm going to have this kipper snack, and I'm going to also tell you, well, I was going to say, maybe I'll just open a regular can of sardines. This one's packed in water. I think I'm just, so this one, I use a little code on my boxes, because once you start doing this and you get excited about dropping some weight and getting great glucose and ketone numbers, you kind of go crazy when you go in the store. You're like, ooh, let me go to the canned fish section and see what they've got. And so there's ones where I was in Trader Joe's, but it wasn't the Trader Joe's brand. It was some other brand. So when I got home, I put TJ on the box. So when I tried them, if I had a preference, I at least know where to go back and get more. That's my little code. But because when you take them out of the box, it's just a blank tin. This one I got at a store called Lidl, which we have around here. It's sort of like an Aldi's. And so I actually brought a bowl over here so that I can try to get this on my, and don't be afraid of, okay, now here we go. Let me get this in the trash. So yeah, see, let me dump some of the water off. So this is sardines in spring water, 150 calories, and I am just draining off the water. And see, this is what totally grosses me out. I mean, that is totally gross to me. And I'm gonna be perfectly honest. When I say, hang on, I had to wipe my hands. Yeah, I'm not sticking a fork in that and eating it. I'm not. But guess what I do? I get some nice sizzling butter, and I've drained off all the water out of the tin. And before I do this, yeah, I'm gonna keep going. And then so all I do is now dump this into there. All right, still looking totally gross to me. Totally disgusting, gross. Let me put my surface light on. And now, so now what do I do? Now this is definitely skin on, bone in. Sometimes you know what? I think what happens is when on the box, if it says skinless, boneless, it's skinless, boneless. If it doesn't say skinless, boneless, then you got this. So I'm actually glad I opened this one so I can show you why I was grossed out and how I make it so that I'm not grossed out. And so now see how kind of pretty this looks? It kind of just looks like tuna fish a little. But that's all I do for pretty much that many seconds. I'm not doing it any longer. Let me get a plate. And this is what I do there. Okay, now, remember, I am not dogmatic. I'm not a food Nazi about a lot of things. I want this to be sustainable and work for you. You can, what I say, zhuzh it up however you like. I happen to love Redmond's seasoned salt. I really like it. It's some combination that just hits me really well, that I really enjoy it. So there's that. I also love, if you want to add even more variety to this, I really like the PLUCK organ seasoning. So heck, and this one's zesty garlic. They have one that's a little spicy. To me, it just tastes like a, variety, a seasonal kind of salt, and you get heart, spleen, liver, kidney, and pancreas in it. So I keep mine in a little container like this by my stove. You can season it with whatever you want. Have fun with it. One of my other favorite seasonings is, and I bought these glass spice jars and I make my own mixtures, but you can see this one says Old Bay Curry 3-to-1. I take Old Bay, which is one of my favorite seasonings, I think because I like celery salt so much, because that's what I really, I don't know, I like it. And then this is just some organic curry, and I mix it 3-to-1 and put it into here, and we'll sprinkle some on there. Or just leave it in that little bit of butter and put on some hot sauce. I really like Valentina. You can do whatever your favorite hot sauce is, but just like that. All right, don't anybody write in the comments that this isn't carnivore, the hot sauce isn't carnivore. I get it. This isn't about that. This is about being really healthy and being able to uh, do a look at that. Okay, now I'm not going to eat that yet because I want to just add in here also the thing about not being crazy about the sardines. Yes, for sure. Absolutely, I think everybody, because it's really healthy and it really is, like I said, a great challenge to do. And it's really good. Oh, good, Dana. You're going to try with hot sauce. I'm telling you, it's really ends up pretty good. It ends up, all of this stuff ends up tasting like tuna. It really does. But I'm going to bring up a couple other things. But I think you should all do just the plain outright sardine challenge, which I did always with the tablespoon of butter, the drained can in there, chop it up for all of, you saw it, 30, 40 seconds, and plate it and put a little hot sauce on. And do that for 3 days. When you get hungry, go ahead and make that. And what I'm going to add to this is, as I did a second one and a third one, because I had such great results and I feel really good on it. I feel like I'm getting benefits of fasting without suffering fasting. And you all know what I mean if you've done some water fasts. It's not a piece of cake or a walk in the park for the first 36 to 48 hours. Oh, histamine intolerance. Thanks for bringing that up because that was on my list to talk about. Not a good idea for people who are histamine intolerant to do the canned sardines, because they are higher in histamines. But I'm going to say there are all sorts of different options and different ways to do a 72-hour challenge that you can figure out. And, you know, start off with a 72-hour bone broth challenge and maybe whisk in some butter, or do a fat challenge, or and learn something. Oh wow, Pam, you're on day 4 of sardines and you feel great. Butter challenge really lowered your glucose. Yeah. So I see a lot of you from my group in here. I love it. Yeah, some are doing a fat fast, a bone broth fast, a sardine fast. I like to call it challenge because obviously we know we're not fasting when we're taking in calories. That's not the point of this. The point of this is, like I said, having a way of, I don't want to say it's like doing an experiment on yourself, but it is valuable information. It really is. So, other things that you can throw on there that are really good. This tastes great on it. I have this Italian black truffle sea salt. It's really good. Anything that I talk about in this video, I'm going to put down in the notes a quick, easy link if you want to try any of the specifics that I have. And of course, a link to Redmond discount link, because, you know, we all love Redmond. And it is, like I said, this. Oh, and they have a Redmond's garlic salt. I know. Garlic's not carnivore. It's okay. If you tolerate spices, run with it, because I do, and I like to do it. This one also, love this. It's got a lot of kick to it. St. Lucifer, seafood, spice, really, really good. If you like a kick, it does have a kick. Then the other thing that I was going to bring up is cod livers. A lot of people in the groups are asking me, can we add cod livers? Can we do cod livers? I don't know. Have you guys eaten cod livers? I've opened one other can other than this. I must have gotten a 3-pack. I have 2 more. I actually kind of liked it when I had it. I'm going to open this one now, and I'm going to show you, if you've never tried cod livers, another thing you can do, which is just kind of mash it right on here. Wait a minute. I know I'm jumping around, but I'm going to do one other thing first because I want to get this in the oven. So I'm going to start heating up my oven. So as you go along doing these sardine fasts and you hit that point where you're like, I'm 2 days in and I just can't think about another friggin' can of sardines. And people start asking, can I do tuna? Can I do salmon? Okay, so I do occasionally myself, instead of, it's always at least one can of sardines. Always. One of the meals has to be sardines. I don't let myself go off track like that. But there's some really great tunas that come in these foil packs. Wild Planet puts one out, and this one, pure tuna, line caught, and then also wild caught pink salmon comes in these packets. There's this one I got at Trader Joe's, lightly smoked salmon. You could see I kind of go a little crazy when I go. This is applewood smoked, but again, always it's hard to get some of these things in water instead of oil. Tuna, of course, you can very easily get it in water. This salmon is, how come it doesn't say it on the front? That's weird. Ingredients: pink salmon, water, salt. So these are options for, let's say you even have the can of sardines and you're feeling still a little hungry, but you don't want a second can. I say, A-okay, open up one of these. It's fine. The other thing is mackerel. Mackerel that is supposed to have, here, the slightly milder flavor than sardines. I said, oh, I'm all in on that one. I got to jump on that. I saw a couple comments in some of the Sardine Challenge videos I watched. And honestly, I don't really notice that much difference. They kind of all taste like tuna, like I said. But let me tell you one other thing. And like I said, this is my fourth 72-hour sardine challenge I'm doing now in the past like 3 months. I think 3 months ago was about the first time I came upon it and tried it. So like I said, I have varied it for my own personal preference without going over into actually making some sort of other meat, or it's still portion controlled, because I'm going to tell you, where did it go? Where did I lose my, here. Oysters. Oysters are really beneficial because of their high level of zinc. They have a lot of benefit to them. So I said, I don't like raw oysters. I know a lot of people do. Don't backlash on me on this. I just don't like the, I don't know, the consistency, the slimy phlegm ball it feels like, and I just don't really get much taste or flavor out of it. I keep asking people, I go, and I always try one when I'm out with people and they order them. I'm like, sure, I'll try one. Again, I keep trying them. Yeah, anchovies are good, Charles. They're also another canned fish that great level of fat. They're a little salty, and with anchovies, very, very hard to find them in water. Very hard. And I was searching because I so badly wanted to put a link to anchovies packed in water for you guys in this notes. Haven't found it yet, but I am putting links of other things. Like I buy like an 18-pack of these because I really like them. It's they're naturally smoked boneless fillets of herring in brines and own juice. I just happen to like them. They're thumbs up for me for my sardine challenge. Okay, so what I was getting at, there's times where I keep trying during these sardine challenges to reach for something else for variety. So I was like, you know what? Let me, oh, see, Sherry, you like raw oysters. Yeah. Hang on. And be really careful to not spill either the water or the oil on your clothes because it will really stink. Okay, now I'm gonna drain these oysters. Hi from South Jersey, Midnight Madness. How South Jersey are you? All right, hang on, I'm just gonna rinse this. Okay, I'm back. So, what I did that was pretty incredible, and these are kind of like dessert. I made these the other day. And this is what I do. I put them in a little ramekin. Just dump all the oysters in there. And I put, oh, I'm gonna tell you one other hint. When you're doing this challenge, get a Ziploc bag, and when you pull the lid off and pull this off, stick it in a Ziploc bag and zip it up before you put it in your trash. Unless you're gonna walk it right outside, because this stuff has a little lingering potency to it, and especially if others in your family are not participating in the said same sardine challenge, you will not be a fan favorite with how you make your kitchen smell. Okay, so same thing with the oysters. I just put a little bit of herb butter, plop it right on there, and you can, or you don't have to, tiny bit of fresh grated Parmesan Reggiano cheese, just a little sprinkle on top. Again, don't have to do that at all. You can, at this point, just squirt on a little hot sauce. You can put a little Old Bay. Do whatever hits your fancy, because guess what? This is what you're getting. Portion control. So I'm going to put this in, and that's just going to heat up for, I don't know, 5-6 minutes, and then I will have it with this. I'm going to taste this. Tastes like tuna. There's no sensation of skin, no sensation of bone whatsoever. And that little hint of butter, that little bit of sriracha sauce, it's actually really pretty good. Not good enough that I'm eating 2 cans, but me personally, I'm only 5'3". It's not like I have this huge appetite that I need to, you know, some of you are gonna need maybe 2 or 3 cans. I don't know. Not happening for me. Okay, let me get into the cod liver. If you've never seen a cod liver or tasted a cod liver, it's very interesting. It's an interesting texture. It's an interesting flavor. Like I said, I've only had 1 can, and I don't think it's a good idea to eat the entire can of cod liver because it's very, very rich in vitamin A. It's very nutritious. Total fat. Okay, so now this says this is wild caught. I'll put a link to the cod liver. I forgot to do that. I tried to prep it, but I will put a link to these in there too, because these are really pretty darn good. All right, 1 gram of carbs, 26 grams total fat, 5 grams protein. So they're pretty fatty. And what I do is I just take a couple of them and kind of mash them into either, because you know how dry tuna is? Tuna is really dry because it has like no fat in it. And even when you dump out a package of this, it's kind of like you need something. And yeah, Carol, the cod liver is very rich but tasty. But if you like mash a couple of these in with that, really good. I mean, all this stuff's really healthy, and I can't even believe I'm talking about like a 3-day sardine, mackerel, mussels, kipper, cod liver thing. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but really, really good. I'll show you what I'm doing here. Discard bowl. All right, so again, trying to be careful not to splatter. Throw that in the sink. So this is in its own, what does it say? It's in its own juices. And I am not going to eat all of these, and I'm going to end up putting them into a container. I'll show you. But, so here's cod livers, and it has a very, very soft, extremely soft texture to it. And I will, like I said, mush that up in my sardine plate over here, just to get some added nutrition. I'm trying to see if I got this lined up, but actually this I can eat right out of the can. Does not taste like tuna. But when you get over the thought that what you're eating, the liver of a codfish, it's actually really, in my opinion, really pretty tasty. So now, again, this just really mashes up really nicely, and it's delicious, actually. All right, let's look at, we'll let that go a touch longer. I want to let that, oh, went 8 minutes, so I think I had it set for 8 minutes. Okay, so let me bend this down. You can see, and I'm going to tell you, I had these for the first time yesterday, and I was blown away. I said, oh boy, we're going to buy some more oysters, because it was pretty incredible and tasted, I can't even, I don't want to burn myself. I don't know what it tastes like. It tastes so good. But again, not so good that I'm going to eat 3, 4, 5 cans of it. It's 1 can. I eat that, and it's rich enough. Yeah, Jan, you love oysters too. Man, that's good. And then my next thing, I haven't done these, but I got this at Trader Joe's, lightly smoked mussels. All right. So now you could say, well, Dr. Lisa, you've just really gone way off on a tangent with this sardine challenge. Yes, this is a big tangent, and this is not meant for me to tell you that this is what the sardine challenge is. The sardine challenge is, what you really have to try is just outright do a sardine challenge. Suck it up, Buttercup. 72 hours. When you get hungry, you get as many cans of sardines as you want. You wait till you're hungry again. Repeat. Even if it's 8, 9 at night, really hungry, you get a can of sardines. You get to do that for 72 hours. I know Dr. Boz says her 72-hour sardine challenges don't start until you eat the first can of sardines. Not for me. My last meal is Sunday night dinner, and that starts my 72 hours. And so, oh, see, another sardine lover. Gosh, you guys. Um, but you know what? I gotta say, I'm really kind of warming up to them as far as eating them like this. Not like what I showed you when I first opened the can. Just visually so unappetizing that mentally I don't think my taste buds could be happy about that. So let me think if there was anything else I was going to. No, I think that was it. So let me take some questions or some comments in there. Again, or you know what? Before I do that, let me just make sure you guys already reminded me of the histamine issue. And you know what? As your body heals and as things change, I really feel some people, and I've witnessed it, have resolved their histamine intolerance issues. So keep thinking positive about that. All right, so let me go through some of the written script here that I wrote. Big benefits of these sardines. They're really healthy. They're really inexpensive. I mean, some of these cans are like, I don't know, like $1.42. I mean, so, you know, $2 a can. It's really inexpensive. Shelf life is great for when the zombie apocalypse happens. So there's some nice benefit to that. I mentioned a few times now the portion control. I come from a big sugar carb addiction, binge eating disordered background. This makes it so awesome. I don't really have to think about it. And I'm so now empowered by all of your successes. I have almost 400 people in this May Ketosis Challenge, and so many people have had so many benefits from this. So I want to keep encouraging people to think outside of the box, do something different, because not changing anything is not gonna, get you to where you want to go. You have to be willing to make changes. You have to be willing to try different things. So really the big benefit of, aside from portion control, nobody's binging on these. It's not like a package of Oreos here or a pizza. Nobody is binging on sardines. I don't know. If you think you can, let me know. But they're very high in DHA, selenium, great for the thyroid, which helps convert T4 into active form of T3 to rev up your metabolism. I'm still trying to really figure out the science behind why this works so well, aside from the fact that they're just such a darn healthy food item. I don't know. 8 to 12 grams of healthy fat, omega-3s. So just all around, it's a positive mindset that you're not starving yourself. You're giving yourself healthy proteins and fats and vitamins and hormones. The vitamin D is a hormone, right? It's going to help you improve your relationship with food, learn your true hunger signals, and have a really comfortable way to greatly reduce your calories and rev up some weight loss when your body is not getting as many calories and as much fat in. It's going to start using your own body fat. I'm confused about the ketone numbers. Is 0.5 good? Yeah. 0.5 is the start of actually, what we consider being in ketosis. Is 0.4 making ketones? Yes. 0.3 making ketones? Yes. You're registering ketones. If on your meter it says LO for low, you're not in ketosis and you're not making ketones. So you really have to, we're striving for over 0.5 in the ketones. Okay. Oh, so other options that I was talking about, the oysters, and there's abalone, anchovies, mussels, cod liver, roe, salmon roe. These are kind of things that I'm telling you, 3, 4, 5, fast down the road when you're doing this to maybe do 48 hours every other week. Throw one of these in. And maybe you want to have a little something more than just sardines, but you know how well it works because hopefully you have a glucose ketone monitor because it's valuable information. You can't manage what you don't measure. I'll have a discount link in the video notes here for the Keto Mojo and also the Forest 6 Connect. Both of them, if you come into any of my group challenges, will sync directly with me. So we have a little accountability going on. Everybody is testing and syncing their numbers into my Mojo Health app. So just adds a little bit of accountability. Let's see. The other thing, oh, some people, I'm just going to go into a couple things that other people have done. I don't, because I kind of found my way that is enjoyable. I have also tried mustard, a little spicy brown mustard, a little horseradish mustard. That's actually really good on them. Just get a clean one that just has, you know, mustard seed, vinegar, water, and spices. And again, I'm not I'm not really strict on things like that. Like if things like that, like spices and mustard and hot sauce, make this really sustainable and doable, then that's just exactly where we want to be with this. And so I will say some people right into the air fryer. They put their sardines into the air fryer. I'm just going to tell you, I've never tried it because number one, I don't want to pull those fish out of the can and lay them in there and crisp up the fish. It would make it seem like the skin is crispy, and I don't know. And number two, don't want a sardine smelling up my air fryer. Kind of is also, but I know some people love it and they put it in their air fryer, so don't go by me on that. Just, you know, if that sounds enticing to you, do it. How about also a squeeze of fresh lemon? Some people drizzle a little apple cider vinegar or a little pickle juice on the sardines. What else? We went over the hot sauce, the mustard. I don't think I would go so far as doing the, some people talk about adding a hard-boiled egg. I always, throughout my whole life, whenever I made tuna salad, I always did an equal amount of hard-boiled eggs and made a egg salad, tuna salad. The only reason I stop myself and don't go there with the sardines is because it starts getting too far away from the whole sardine challenge once I start introducing something that I really like eggs. But I guess I just kind of contradicted myself because I really like the oysters, but it's still in the fish family and it's still a nutritional change and variation from what I normally eat. So, all right, I think that is all that I have as far as going over my little demo of all this. I probably, if I did the mussels, I would guess that I'm thinking I'm probably going to do this same little butter with a little of my Old Bay curry seasoning, and that would be that. Yeah, today I purposely, I went all the way till now to eat. I had a little bit of what I call my salty soup, which again, I just love this seasoning, and I put it into really hot water in a nice thermal mug, and I sip that. And like I said, it's pretty exciting to wake up in the morning and check your numbers, and every single time I'm gonna say it's worked, it's working, and I would love it also to work for you. Jump in and do it. So Leave a comment if you are in my groups and you've had some success, or leave a comment if you're trying to, you've already done it and you've tried making sardines a different way. Somebody's talking about smoked sprats are great. I have not tried sprats. So I'm going to stick on here for a bit and try to see if there's any. Oh shoot, what did I just do? Hang on. Oops. I'm trying to do this on my phone. Oh wow, bought 2 cases of sardines in water at Dollar Tree last year. Very interesting. I have not been in that store in so long, so I wouldn't have even thought they sold sardines in there. At what point do you test the ketones and such? Okay, so for my group, I have everybody test once, first thing in the morning when they get up. I try really hard, and this is tough part of my job because not many people want to listen to this. Don't get hung up on the numbers. Don't obsess with the numbers. We're not, and you know, like tomorrow morning, if I get up and my ketones are 1.2 and the day before they were 1.6, you could say, what's happening? They're going down. You know what? You could take another strip, stick it in there, and test it minutes later, and it be the other number. So I think it's really important to not get hung up on specific numbers. We're looking for a trend over time. And that's why I just want you just test first thing in the morning and compare it over time as a general trend. I have some people say, oh, but the dawn effect and my glucose is high. I don't care. We want to know what, at that point in time, what your ketones and glucose are, and compare it over time and see where it's going. So yeah, you're in the, Carol, you're in the June group. Are you in the June group too, Carol? Because you're in my May group. But yeah, I opened up only 2 groups in June. I would love to have you in there. Yes, the June challenge is up on the website. And again, this is not the huge group that I did in May. That became really overwhelming for me with the number of issues and complications and stuff that came about it. And I love having small groups so I get to know you. And everybody at every weekly meeting is able to ask questions, talk with me. And week by week, we discuss how things are going. And in between, 24/7, in between the meetings, I have everybody in a private WhatsApp chat to ask questions and talk about all sorts of different things that are coming up with the challenges. And week by week, I give you a challenge. And so far, what I've just done, this is week 2 that we are in. Today's Tuesday. So yeah, I did it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, May 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and then we had our first meeting, and now we have the second challenge, which I left it up to everybody to decide what they wanted to do. I didn't force anybody to do a sardine challenge. It was an option. Pretty much a fat challenge, bone broth, an outright water and salt fast, or the sardine challenge. And I'm just collecting all of the data that people are syncing with me because I want to see, as a group, are we trending up in the ketones and down in the glucose, and are we getting weight loss? Because I'm going to say 98% of us, I think, are in that weight loss camp where we just want to get down to our really ideal lean body weight. I'll have a link. You're asking what the website is. I definitely will have a link up within 10 minutes after I hit the end button on here. And again, I am only just doing the smaller group so that that's where I feel I get so much. People benefit so much just by being able to be in a little bit more of a tighter community. If those fill up really fast, I will open up another group on another day. What's really hard for me is because I'm in New Jersey in the Eastern time zone. I know there's people in Europe and there's people in California, and the time zones make it really difficult to make it convenient. But some people are attending virtually. I send the meeting link, recording link out every single week right after the meeting happens, and so you can watch and attend virtually but be live in the WhatsApp chat private group in between. So all right, I hope this has been helpful. I just want to give my experience on this whole sardine challenge, and I just am really so encouraging if you've never tried it before to give it a try. Personally, I have found it is so beneficial when you're doing it as part of a group, or even just get a friend. I know it's hard in this kind of thing to say, call up your friend and say, hey, because unless they're in this world that we're in here of knowing what we know and knowing better, not so many are going to jump in with this crazy, wacky thing. But that's why the groups are amazing, because you know what? Everybody's counting on you to stick with it, and you're counting on them, and it's part of the support of not being isolated in our addiction of the garbage food. And so I hope all of you give it a try. I'd love to see you in the challenge for the month of June, and leave me a comment, hit the subscribe, hit the like, I don't know, all that stuff that's supposedly going to help me. But I hope you have a great night, and a fishy tomorrow.